All right, team, how's it going there? What I want to do today is talk you through, as the clock counts down, talk you through the second part of the web strategy planning template. Now, we've already done lesson 1 on a previous training, so if you want part 1 is actually where we cover the front side of this diagram here. I'll move my head out of the way. So we've covered that. What we're going to do today is actually look at the flip side of this template, where we actually fill it out for your specific marketing plan. All right, so what we're going to do is just break it down into each stage. So we're going to start with the top bit, the who. So who is it that we want to be reaching, or who do we want as our ideal client? So often we document this. I really like to have a name for them. So say, for example, what we're aiming to do is just picture one person who's typically one of our best clients. So in this case, it could be Alan, and he might be Alan the accountant. Okay, so it's nice to be able to actually have a name for these people so that we can actually picture them. So when we're thinking up content or social media posts or anything else, we can think, okay, Alan. I know Alan because 1, he probably exists, and 2, it's an amalgamation of your best clients. But we've also got a description of them. So Alan might be the partner of a small, maybe 2 to 5 person accounting firm in this case, say Australia. So if that's who you help, then you've got a pretty clear picture. Now, there's deliberately only a small amount of room in each of these boxes. However, feel free to use the rest of, to use either the space here or just your notepad to actually do a more detailed description, but then just condense it down on the resource. So in the description below this video, you will actually have a link to download this resource. It's free to download. Just put your name and email in, and in the PDF, it's actually fillable, which means you can either download it as a PDF and scribble on it through your iPad, or you can actually type straight into it as a document. So you may like that as well. Okay, so that's the first bit. We've covered off the who. Then we want to think about the what. So what problems are we trying to solve for this buyer? And in terms of the big picture, what we're doing here, who, what, why, where, how, and when, and then a scorecard. All right, so we've done the who. Now we're moving to the what. So the what. What problems do you solve for this buyer? Why are they buying from you? Okay, so we're thinking of Alan the accountant here in this example. Of course, yours will be different. That's why we're going through this activity. So Alan the accountant doesn't actually have enough leads coming into his business. Not enough leads. Because Alan's a good accountant, but he hasn't necessarily put his mind to marketing, and so that's one of his challenges. Not enough qualified leads. So why are they buying from you? Well, in this case, they're buying from me because we help them build a marketing and sales pipeline. Okay? So excuse my writing at times, it can be a little bit messy. So we know at a high level that's why they're coming to us. And what actions would we like them to take? And we're going down this process here. So the main commercial outcome is that we would like them to purchase our program. Or it could be your services or your product or whatever else, but you put that in as the destination, the end goal, the desired end goal for what you want Alan the accountant to do. Then, but before he can join the program or purchase something, they typically make an inquiry. So how are they going to make an inquiry? Well, they could fill out a form on a website, they could email you, they could click and open up a chat on Messenger. They could book a time in your calendar through Calendly. So in this case, I want people to book a link through Calendly, Calendly booking. Okay, so that's how they make an inquiry. Then before they know, like, and trust you enough to make a booking, they're going to need to connect with you. Okay, so there's all sorts of ways people can connect, but for Alan the accountant, the main way that I want him to connect is through my email newsletter. Okay, so he joins my email newsletter, gets regular communications, and that's how he gets to know, like, and trust me enough to buy eventually, or to inquire eventually, and then if he's the right fit, he may like to buy. So how do we get people onto the newsletter? As we're working backwards from what the end goal is. So what we want to happen here is we really need some type of free download, aka a lead magnet. I call it flagship content. So what would we have here? Let's call it a marketing template. Now this is kind of loosely based on my real buyer personas here. So I give away a lot of marketing templates to get people onto my Blue Wire News, drip feed them content over time. When the time's right, they can book in my calendar. We have a conversation or two, and if it's a good fit, people join my program. So there you see the what actions do we want them to take? Let's move on. And why on earth are they buying from us versus one of the other million people out there on the internet or out in the real world? So how are you remarkable? Well, again, this is something that's probably the most uncomfortable part to think about and do for your own business. Now, what a phrase I like is well, it's not really a phrase, just to be generous with your marketing. So one of the ways that say Blue Wire is remarkable is that we have lots of valuable templates. And so people often remark about our templates, therefore it's remarkable. I'll move my head out of the way. So what makes you remarkable? Maybe it is a really awesome podcast that you have for your business. Maybe it's because you've got a special combination of skills or a really powerful offer. Okay, so how are you remarkable? And then what proof have you got to support why people should buy from you? Often it's guarantees or testimonials or press. In my case, I like to share case studies of successful clients. So people can watch and see case studies of a successful client. They can go, okay, I can see myself in this person. I see the journey they've been on. I would like to emulate that journey myself. Now, it could be other things like that you're remarkable. It could be a particular book or podcast or something like that as well. Next part we need to think about is, where are these people on the internet? Or even where are they? All round, full stop. So where are they? For Alan the accountant, very often he's typing stuff into Google. So when he thinks, okay, I need to drum up a few clients, geez, what am I going to do? Well, maybe I could do some marketing. So what do I need? Something that I can, you fill out and use. I need a marketing template. So they go into the Google, type in digital marketing template, web strategy template, SEO strategy template, anything like that. And that's where I want to show up. But Alan the accountant may also follow a handful of really trusted blogs, for example, which is tied in nicely with the second part of this section. Who do they trust? So an accountant, Alan the accountant, he would trust other professional advisors. And I think he might maybe trust a couple of podcasts that he listens to. All right, so if we're thinking about who Alan trusts, that helps us determine, well, who could I form maybe partnerships with, or whose podcast could I go on? Who could I write a guest article for a blog, if there's certain channels or certain people that Alan the accountant trusts. Okay. So the next part is how. How are we going to achieve this? How are we going to get our message out there so that Alan finds it and engages with it? So there was a Gary Vee saying from a few years back, content is king, but marketing is queen, and the queen rules the roost. So both are equally important, but they serve different purposes. So what will you publish? In my case, for Alan, I'm going to publish some articles on a blog, and I'm going to share templates, because Alan just wants to learn a little bit but then have an actionable resource. Also, I need to think about what is Alan going to be typing into Google to find this type of stuff. So he's probably going to be typing in phrases like marketing template, SEO template, email marketing template, all of these types of things. So I want you to think about what your ideal buyer will be typing into Google, and then what are the tactics that we're going to employ here. So where am I going to put my articles and templates? Well, I'm going to put them onto Facebook. I might even post them on Instagram. I'm going to post my articles on LinkedIn as posts, as articles, as a newsletter, and I'm also going to send a regular email newsletter. So that is an example of the tactics tying in with the strategy. So what am I going to publish? Articles and templates, basically sharing tips on marketing with a keyword, for example, they're going to type into Google marketing template, and then we're going to distribute that content on those various platforms. Okay, so then we just need to put a timeline to this. So what are we going to do this week, this month, this quarter, this year? Maybe in your situation, it is to write an article. Then it might be and post to LinkedIn. Then you might uncover a piece of flagship content. Okay. Oops, I'll get my head out of the way. My handwriting is pretty bad, I'm afraid. This quarter, start a newsletter. Or start a newsletter, even though I've already got one, but this is just an example. And then this year, okay, maybe you want to start a podcast. So that is a bit of a timeline for you to have an idea of when you're going to achieve all of this stuff. And then finally, we just need a scorecard to keep track of our results. So if we know that we want to get 10 new clients, or maybe let's call it 12 new clients over the course of the year, one a month, we might close maybe 1 in 3 qualified prospects. So we know that we need 36 inquiries. 36 inquiries, which might mean that we ideally might like to have, say, 500 connections in a Facebook group or an email list. So that might mean that we need 600 people to download our flagship content, because some of them are going to take the resource and unsubscribe or whatever else. And there you have a very clear idea of the sort of numbers that you need and the success metrics. And of course, as you go, you can track your goal versus the actual result to see how you are tracking. So folks, that is how to fill out your web marketing strategy. On the flip side of it, I hope that's been really useful. Again, if you want to download the resources, they are on this page. You can print it out, stick it to your wall if that's more your style. I do have a whole bunch of printed out copies that I keep with me to hand out to clients and prospects when I meet with them. Okay, so if you've got any questions, do hit me up. I hope this training has been useful, and we'll see you again for one very soon. See ya.